but Miller, you're out. As you can see, I've got a whole bunch of welders and a whole bunch of different brands. I've got everything from Harbor Freight to Wetols, Yeswelders, a Lincoln, and a Miller. I'm going from 9 that I have right now down to about 3 or 4, depending on how things turn out. I would love to keep all of these just on the shelf, but there's 2 downsides to that. Is it takes up a lot of space. I'm just here in my garage. And secondly, I'm a small enough YouTube that I'm not sponsored, and almost all of these were out of pocket. So I'll turn around, sell it, and guess what? Yep, that goes right back into the videos, goes into newer, different welders that I haven't had before. So that's what helps you guys get a nice variety of welders to check out and to see what you would like. Having a bunch of welder videos out there, I get asked, what welder should I get? And that's a very open-ended question because it really depends on the situation you're in. I'm gonna go through my criteria of how I choose a welder. Then we'll be able to take just a second with each of these and see if it falls in line with that and if it's worth keeping. 99% of the stuff I do is just plain carbon steel. I every once in a while I'll do stainless steel, but I hardly ever, I've actually only welded aluminum once or twice, and that was off in the shop. So right off the bat, that kind of takes out those higher end, the AC/DC, the TIG machines, those nicer TIG machines, and that's mostly why if you've seen some of my TIG welds, they ain't that great. Mostly everything I do, carbon steel. A lot of it is the thinner stuff, thinner tubing. I like railings. I've done a bunch of go-karts with just thinner square tubing. I love welding that kind of stuff up. Super easy, looks great. On rare occasions, I will bump it up to thicker material, kind of 1/4 inch and above. So with that, I do like and need the 220 capability in a machine every once in a while to be able to do some thicker stuff. I don't weld professionally, but a lot of my neighbors know that I have welders and like welders, and so you bet I'm the first one they call if they need a little railing touch-up or some gate fixes. I helped out recently with a trailer and a railing. So with that, a small portable welder that's either stick or flux is a must. Let's start diving down. There's really no rhyme or reason, and keep in mind, this is not a comparison video. Starting with stick welders, I'm gonna, already say this guy is gone. It's an 80 amp Harbor Freight 110 welder, and the only downside is it's only 80 amps. And since I have 2 other dual voltage, meaning you can do 110 or 220 horsepower with it, I get a lot higher amps out of these 2 guys, and the size comparison isn't that big of a difference, so this guy is already out. The biggest question is going to be whether to keep one of these 2 or my big honkin' AC welder. Now, I haven't talked much about my Miller, and I love this thing. It's a beast. It welds amazing. It's AC only. It is a tank, so it's definitely a machine that will stay in the garage. It will stay back in the corner on the cart its entire life. Another drawback to some, not for me because I have it in the garage, but it is 220 only. And most of these bigger AC units are that way. Like the Lincoln's got that big old tombstone buzz box as well. But the plus side, I mean, these things are great. Honestly, there's so few moving parts in here. That's the reason why you can pass these on from generation to generation. The size alone is the reason why I'm getting rid of it, and that's just because I got a 225 amp machine right here that can do the exact same thing. Now, with it being stick only, I don't really have to have the AC type of polarity. DC, which is what all of these guys are, they're inverter welders. These will be just fine for what I use it for, you know, mostly just plain carbon steel. The Miller's out for the size, keep the 2 voltage machines, and the 80 amps out. These 2 I'm going to keep till the end, and that's just because I do have a way of deciding these types of things, which I'll share with you at the very end. Switching over to some wire feed welders now, I've got the Yes 135 and the Titanium 125. I really like the Yeswelder. You get a little extra amperage out of it, but more importantly, they've been throwing in stingers so you can actually do stick welding. So this is actually a multi-process machine. But since I have other stick machines and other multi-process machines, I don't think I'll really ever use or keep this one around solely for that purpose. So that's why these 2 are kind of on the same plane that I'm going back and forth with. Off the bat, the Titanium I've had ever since they came out with them, and I've really enjoyed this guy. I've done a ton of projects with this, including I think my coffee table, some railings, my recent front door railing. And I'm definitely going to be keeping at least one of these, and that's due to the fact that it's flux core and it's very portable. My cart welders. And why do I call it that? Well, these are the bigger welders, my MIG welders that stay on the cart, hooked up to the bottle, that are really for the larger shop or garage projects. So I've had the Lincoln 140 forever. It's a Lincoln, what can you say? It's been great. The problem is it is only 140. So when the titaniums came out, I actually picked up the 140. Very comparable. I did like the titanium a little better just because of the size. It was a little smaller. And so this guy's kind of been sitting for a while. And then of course I found an open box deal for the 170. Couldn't pass it up. And well, the Lincoln 140 has officially been replaced, and I've been using the titanium 170 solely for my MIG and cart welding type stuff. And that was all up until Yeswelder came out with their MP200 and the 5-in-1. And well, this is my new favorite welder, and it's mostly because it also has plasma cutting built in. Now granted, if you already got like a plasma cutter or a dedicated TIG and stick machine, well, there's no reason to really go get an all 5-in-1 type machine. But since I'm consolidating, I want to save space and everything, having all of that in one machine is a double bonus. And so really this guy's gonna be the one I'm keeping. By all means, if this were the Lincoln 180 or the titanium 200 multi-process, this would be a lot harder decision to make. But since the Yeswelder has all the features I want and need in one package, well, I'm gonna be keeping this guy around, getting rid of these two, and I'll definitely be keeping one of the stick machines and one of the flux core machines. I told you earlier that I have a way of deciding which ones to keep, and well, it's pretty simple. I put them all up on the classified ads, and whichever sell first out of these two and these two, well, I keep the other, and I'm happy either way. Let me know in the comments if you have one of these welders, if you like it. I'm sure I'll get something down there for getting rid of the Miller and my Lincoln right off the bat. Leave a like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.